This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my idol. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody, guys and girls, welcome back to another edition of the SmackDown Review with Mike and John. As always, I am one of the co-hosts here, Michael Ritter. You can find me on Twitter at Michael5Ritter and on Instagram at MichaelRitter5. Also the host of the Football Function podcast, available on all of your podcasting platforms, including the one that you're listening to this podcast on. And also my co-host, John Carrasco, joining me here for his fourth or fifth episode. I'm starting to lose count already. That's a good thing, because now we're starting to get in the swing of things and actually break down SmackDown here. But speaking of tonight's episode of SmackDown, I will say this episode of SmackDown aired on February 11th, 2022 from New Orleans, Louisiana. A little bit of a hill move there. Yeah, not a big fan of New Orleans. Obviously, Atlanta Falcons fan. You do the math there. But anyways, this episode of SmackDown, I actually didn't get a chance to watch the first 45 minutes of, because whatever reason, my DirecTV decided not to record SmackDown. We've had these situations come up in the past. If you're a longtime listener of my version of this SmackDown review here, then you know this happened literally my second episode, my actual second episode here doing the SmackDown review. Whenever they did the actual draft, the brand split draft, the episode of SmackDown didn't record. So coming out of the gate, we dealt with some technical difficulties, and they just kind of come up, every so often. That's kind of what happens whenever you have satellite and you actually have a cable provider. You have to rely on that. And it was just a little bit of a glitch. I don't know why. What happened? I mean, I watch SmackDown every single week, but for whatever reason, it didn't record this episode. Well, I mean, yeah, it didn't record, but I tuned in at 7:45. It starts at 7 Central where I live, and I just tuned in a little bit late. I was going to have some fast forward time and then catch up, but I tuned in and I was in the middle of the Natalya versus Aliyah match, about 46 minutes into the show. So I'm going to be relying on John, my reliable co-host here, to kind of get us through the beginning portion of the show. And I do know that I missed Roman Reigns making an appearance. That's number one. I missed Sonya Deville getting slapped. That's another thing that I was pretty pissed off that I missed. And then I missed, an interview between Reigns and Cole, maybe a little bit of other stuff, a tag team match. I'm not really sure exactly. I'll let you kind of guide us through that beginning of the show, but I was able to watch a little bit more than half. Like I said, I got there about the 7:46 mark. SmackDown ends at 9. So as far as this episode of SmackDown goes, what are your opinions on it? I mean, did you think it was a good episode? It does feel good, number one, first and foremost, to be back here recording in my actual habitat here with my actual mic and stuff, not on the road. So that feels good. But what'd you think about this episode of SmackDown? I mean, did you think it was a pretty good one here on the road to WrestleMania?
Oh yeah, it definitely raised my eyebrow a couple of times, so it had me on edge. Definitely was looking forward to a couple of things, like the Aliyah and Natalya match, and I don't know, kind of on edge about this Big E New Day type thing. So yeah, we can get into it though. Okay, so basically what happens, and we'll roll on into it. It just has a little recap of Charlotte and Ronda from last week. The little encounter that they had at the end of the show. Oh yeah, I remember
that very vividly.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just kind of a touching base on that. And then of course, I mean, had a little new host to it. Corey Graves was on there because Pat McAfee, I believe they said that he was out of town for the Super Bowl.
Yep,
this weekend,
in Los Angeles doing Radio Row.
Yeah, so it was kind of weird to see Corey on there, or definitely, well, I wouldn't say see, but more of hear him, it's just coming over the brand thing. Here it is, it's bringing over from another.
Did he take a shot?
Yeah, I did take a shot.
No, I knew you took a shot. Did Corey Graves take a shot at Pat McAfee? Because I heard that on the internet that he took a shot at Pat. Corey Graves, keep in mind, has been cleared to wrestle. That's like why he's involved with WWE. He used to be a wrestler, had to retire because of concussions or something along those lines. Maybe, I'm not sure. I think it might have actually been concussions though, but either way, he was forced to retire early. Obviously engaged now to Carmella. You would expect he'd want to get in the ring, experience a little bit of the Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, Jimmy Uso, Naomi, Miz, Maurice type couple, I guess, simultaneous careers in the same time in WWE. We've seen this happen so many times with so many different couples. But do you think that would be cool to see Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves? I mean, Pat McAfee has had a match here. I mean, it was in NXT, but still WWE, he had a match. I mean, would you want to see Pat McAfee versus Corey Graves maybe at WrestleMania?
Honestly, that would be pretty interesting right there. I'd love to tune into that, so I don't know, just
they're both Pittsburgh guys. I mean, they kind of definitely have a little bit of history. They do get along in real life, but I mean, if he's taking shots at him being the Raw color commentator, Pat McAfee being the SmackDown guy, I could see them setting up a nice little angle there if Corey Graves wanted to get back in the ring, having a nice little easy opponent. No offense to Pat, but something that's entertaining for sure, to say the least. I'd be interested in that for sure. Maybe have Byron Saxton be the special guest referee or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool to see. I'd definitely be interested in that. I don't know. I didn't
mean to get you off topic there. I just noticed, I saw somebody say on the internet that Corey Graves took a shot at Pat and they would like to see maybe that be a feud or something like that. Was that in the Discord server or did I see that online or was that in the Discord chat?
I don't recall seeing that in Discord.
All right, cool. I'm just making sure that I wasn't getting things confused there, but go ahead.
Yeah, but we'll keep on rolling into this. Like I said, it was kind of weird, just or hearing them on there and everything like that. So I mean, it wasn't too much of a fan, but it did feel like it was like a better opportunity for Michael Cole to do his thing, kind of put his voice on top, and it kind of seemed like that's what he was doing throughout the show. So it was positive. But other than that, yeah, we'll keep on going. So Sonya Deville, she ends up coming out and she's already in the ring, basically standing there, as soon as that video package ends, and she's basically on her little rant, saying that what Ronda did was overboard and stuff like that. So of course she wanted there to be consequences. So she started to. Or she wanted to make a petition, I guess you could say, for Ronda to be fined $100,000 and be suspended indefinitely. And then here comes Adam Pearce, just out of the blue, okay, this is not what we're gonna do, So it was kind of I don't know, kind of taken away from Sonya, So that's
some authority, kind of putting her in her place a little bit. I totally get that because I did see the replay a little bit later in the show. They did show the replay of this, and I actually liked it. He had his phone, he kind of pulled that out and he was reading where he said, or somebody told him that if she gets involved, if she gets involved in the match tonight, if she lays a hand on Naomi, then her job is going to be in serious jeopardy. And then sure enough, if I'm not mistaken, Naomi comes up behind her, gives her a good slap right in the face. I mean, I'll let you dive in there. You saw it happen live. I'm pissed that I missed this. And that's one thing I will say. Me and you record. It's only around 10 o'clock right now. So SmackDown only went off the air about an hour ago. So there's not a whole lot that I can go back and watch. If you didn't record the show, then you can't go back and watch it. So I'm going to have to wait till Hulu or highlights come out to actually get a chance to really see what I missed in that beginning part of SmackDown. But this is the one that I'm damn it. I really wanted to see Sonya Deville get her face slapped by Naomi. I've been kind of waiting for this, but tell me, how was this segment once Naomi finally did show up?
I mean, basically, she just shows up, basically kind of goes through, well, let me backtrack a little bit because what was said was on the text messages, going back to what you were saying, it was Vince McMahon that was the one that actually called that shot.
Okay, so that was Vince. Oh.
Yeah, very high up, so, yeah, you definitely know that there's some type of, authority to that, so he kind of just, gives off the, what would you say, bullet points or what were the demands, I guess you could say. Yeah, and he's saying that, of course, you can't lay a hand on, or Sonya Deville can't lay a hand on Naomi. And of course the job will have, or she does that, the job will be, or her job will be in serious jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, okay, I get it there. And then, okay, let's go fast forward a little bit back to where you were. Naomi, she's talking about, Sonya not being able to touch her and stuff like that, but she can lay hands on her. And then that's when, that's that smack that you were talking about that you wanted to see so much. And I don't know, I'm kind of feeling for Sonya right there. I mean, I don't know, I just don't get it. Like, there was like a segment, I guess you could say, between Adam Pearce and Brock at one time, taking the F5s, getting them suspended, the $1 million fine, stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not with it. I mean, we'll get into that at the end of the show.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, the main reason why I wanted to see Naomi get slapped is because not Naomi. The reason why I wanted to see Sonya get slapped is because I've seen Naomi get slapped so many times where she didn't retaliate despite getting hit. Like, I understand she's your boss, but if you should show the footage, there's a camera literally 2 feet away from you. If you show that to Vince McMahon or whoever you're supposedly going to get fired by, if you do retaliate to Sonya Deville whenever she hits you backstage, like we saw happen several times during the duration of this program. So if you just show them, hey, look, clearly I was defending myself. I was hit first. I understand she's my boss. That doesn't give her the right to smack me in the face. So that's just one thing that I was looking forward to seeing Sonya finally get a little bit of a taste of her own medicine on that one.
I got you. I mean, of course, different opinions and everything like that. But we'll jump on over to this next part of the segment and everything like that, which is basically, I don't know how to address this. It's, Big E, New Day. It's kind of it doesn't seem like it's fitting together right now. So, I mean, I've seen like people wanting to like have it split, like Big E.
That's me. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Big E and King or Kofi Kingston. Sorry about that. And then instead of the New Day, all just together as a bunch, So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of on the like. I want to see them together, but then again, I feel he's just filling the void for King Woods being out as of right now, So I don't know. It's kind of on edge about that. So, but yeah, that's kind of like confusing to me. But yeah, they do have a match that's against the Los Lotharios again. It's kind of following up with everything that they did, but they came out with the, I don't know, what would you say, like quotations? Lethal Lovers? I don't know if that was new or. Like,
did they call themselves that, or
no,
was was it written
on
the graphic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the ring announcer announced them as the Lethal Lovers, huh?
Yeah. So I was like,
it's definitely new. I can confirm that is a new thing. I could tell you right now for sure. I never heard that before. I mean, I think they're kind of just testing the waters, experimenting a little bit with Los Lotharios. And I think it's a good thing to do. They're a good tag team. You're going to eventually get something to stick. And I do think they're kind of in the right ballpark right now with the gimmick that they do have. So I just think they're going on the right track. I will say, and I didn't see this match or who won or anything like that, but from what I've seen, in weeks past and kind of the path that they're on, I'm a fan of what they're doing.
Okay. I mean, so with that being like, I guess new, they did have a kiss cam as well. So I would assume that's new as well because I haven't seen it on anything else. But yeah, they basically just walking into the ring, and then here comes this little heart-shaped kiss cam where they just walk up to like a female that's standing in the corner and they both give her a kiss on both sides of the cheek, I guess you could say, same time. So I'm wondering if they're going to keep on doing that. I mean, it'd be cool to see it like in like how they do it in basketball games and stuff like that, to do it out in the crowd rather than, of course, they want the camera to be on them, but I don't know.
Yeah, see, I will say a quick thing on that. Wrestling events aren't necessarily as popular as like a take your girlfriend on a date to, see, I just took my girlfriend Ashley to SmackDown last week, but that's kind of different. That's typically not, if you look around the crowd, you're typically not going to see like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, a husband and wife. Now you will occasionally. I'm not saying this is the general case, but like NBA games, that's much more common. You can look around the crowd and you'll just see, it's more of like a couple thing, I feel like. Whereas wrestling events are more like a family type thing. I guess if that makes sense. But I totally get it and it'll work. I mean, if you use a kiss cam eventually, if you look around, you'll see it. I mean, whenever I was in Oklahoma City during one break, they had like a Bella cam where they were going around the crowd and people were standing up and they were like, turning their hips and stuff, doing like the Bella entrance. Yeah, they really were. And there were people around me, grown men, who were actually doing that, trying to get on the camera. So I'm sure that, no matter what you try to do, if you look around the crowd, you'll get people doing it. So anyways, I kind of derailed you a little bit, as I've done a little bit already on the show tonight, but go ahead and you can keep going there. You're talking about a kiss cam going on here with this tag team match.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool to see like they're actually like starting to fit into their role a little bit better and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the match. I felt like it was pretty good, but I didn't feel as if like Big E's like energy like is there anymore, like him coming into this like tag team, I guess you could say. But yeah, I just feel like the match is being at least like pushed more for Kofi and Los Lotharios, so I just feel like Big E's just there to be there, to help him out. But I mean, everything, I guess you say, the match was good. They had a good back and forth. Like I said, Big E didn't feel present and everything. So, majority of like the match was like centered around, Kofi and Los Lotharios. So, I mean, they put on a good show. I wasn't mad about this. I kind of was ready for it to be over with last week. But then again, like them coming out with this new stuff that's on their entrance and stuff like that kind of like brings a new life to it. So I wasn't mad at it. But yeah, the Los Lotharios, they ended up getting the win. And, I mean, pretty much it,
Yeah, right team won. I feel like Los Lotharios, that's the team if you're going to have these two teams go at it. Whether you call them the New Day, whether you call them Big E and King Kofi or whatever you're going to call them, then either way, I think Los Lotharios deserve to get the win here. So what happened next here on SmackDown? I know we're probably getting pretty close to the Aliyah Natty match. I know it's not next, but I know it's definitely creeping up. So, and that's where I actually end up coming in watching SmackDown.
Gotcha. I wouldn't fast forward too much. I mean, there's definitely an interesting part with the Usos. They end up ambushing the Viking Raiders backstage.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was definitely like a good push for the match that's going to come at the Elimination Chamber, and it kept me on my little over my seat, I guess you could say, because the way they just like came in, beat them up. Because those are two big guys, you wouldn't expect just a couple punches just to knock them straight down to their feet, so they definitely had to wail on them.
I know you're a fan. I know you're a fan of what the Bloodline's doing and all that stuff. Does this attack, seeing kind of, I guess, what the Viking Raiders are, where they stand as the quote-unquote number one contenders, do you think they have a chance to be the team to dethrone them? The Usos, that is.
I mean, I'd say they're up there, but I wouldn't say they're gonna do it. I wouldn't say that they're gonna be the team that takes the actual belt from them. I don't know. So I'd say a no on that.
Okay, hey, no problem with that. They could definitely hold it a little bit longer. That could be one of the titles that gets dropped at WrestleMania, or they can keep on holding it. We don't know what they're gonna do with this Bloodline stuff because it's really unprecedented. We've waited to see this. No. I was just gonna say that we've waited to see this faction, this group get together for so long. Like it's been a while, honestly, that we've really wanted to see the Bloodline or some type of Samoan dynasty family get together. So now that we finally do, and we have one, I could see them really milking it. I do think though that the clock is ticking on the Usos title reign. I just get that vibe.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I just think the Usos and Roman Reigns, they're just going to go hand in hand with the titles, So, I mean, whatever path they're on is how I think it's going to go, Yeah, but following this, we had like a little video package with Roman Reigns and Michael Cole backstage. I didn't really grasp too much of this on my notes. I was more interested with what was actually going on, just trying to take everything in. So, I mean, I can't really give too much detail about it, but of course, it's just given the build up between Roman and Goldberg for the match that's coming up. Did you happen to catch any of that by chance?
Roman Reigns promo?
Yeah.
I did not.
Okay.
I didn't, but I will say I have a little bit of breaking news here. And I hate to interrupt you. We're going to get right back to the SmackDown review in this exact segment. Well, we do have a little bit of breaking news here. Let me see. I do got to pull it back up because I don't want to get it wrong. Shout out to Josh T. Hand. He's actually the one who broke this news in the Discord server. But apparently the Intercontinental Championship changed hands. It says right here, during a special SmackDown taping on February 11th, Sami Zayn defeated Shinsuke Nakamura to capture the Intercontinental Championship. Tune in to SmackDown next Friday, 8/7 Central on Fox to see how the Master Strategist emerged victorious in the hard-fought battle for the gold. So apparently it was like a dark match or something like that. This clearly didn't happen on the show. But I did want to give a quick shout out to Josh T. Hand. He's in the Discord server, and he did break that news. So I know obviously by the time you listen to this show, you're already going to know this by the time like this episode's actually out and being listened to by the Patreons and whoever. But that's still crazy that this happened just now. I mean, we've waited for this for so long. The Intercontinental Championship finally gets defended and it changed hands. I said this was the right decision just for the sake of change because that title desperately needs it. We don't have to go any further into that because we'll eventually talk about it whenever the time comes, but just a little bit of breaking news there. You can go back to breaking down that segment, Roman. I do apologize for cutting you off.
Oh, no. I mean, that's definitely like some, interesting news right there. I wouldn't say I'm much for it. I'd rather see like an actual match for it rather than just be like a behind the scenes type deal.
Just hear the news. Yeah, that's definitely kind of crappy, but.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that we actually like in the middle of recording and we actually got that news. So, I mean, good shout out right there. But yeah, we can keep it rolling on into this next segment, which is the Aliyah and
there we go
Natalya match. So, I mean, definitely help me out right here. I'm getting a little choked up. I mean,
don't worry, I got you, bud. All right, well,
help me out.
See, I was confused whenever I got to SmackDown and I started watching it. This is the match that was going on. Clearly, that's what I said a little bit earlier. So it was a little bit weird. I was kind of trying to figure out, okay, what's going on here? I do remember that they scheduled this match. They were going to get the one-on-one because they do want to see if she can beat her like legit, right? Like it's not like a count-out win. It's not like a fluke victory in a very short amount of time. We want to see if she could actually beat Natalya. She doesn't get to in this one. She puts her in the sharpshooter. She's like hanging halfway out of the ring. I wasn't sure if it was like a legitimate, like they stopped the match because she tapped out, or if it was like a disqualification on Natty's end. But they did stop the match right there, so that is on me. Like I said, I was still kind of getting used to it, or trying to get situated to realize, holy crap, I'm really behind here. But I ended up kind of getting the grasp of what happened after that because Aliyah ends up being saved by none other than Xia Li. She makes her appearance once again, comes out to the rescue, scares Natalya off. Were you happy to see Xia Li? Do you feel like this is kind of, I mean, is she going to do something else? Like, I mean, how often or how many times are we going to see her run out, scare somebody off, not do anything? Like, give her a one-on-one match already. I mean, what are we waiting on? I'm not talking about a dark match. I'm not talking about anything like that. On the show, on SmackDown, I want to see her have a one-on-one match literally with anybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Just going to the the mailbag real quick, I believe it was. But every time I'm seeing Xia Li now, Matt played this, or of course everybody knows what it is, the Mortal Kombat song, and it's just been in my head, dude. Like, I don't know, it was the funniest thing to hear. So yeah, every time I see Xia Li come out, that's like gonna be like my. I
can't tell you how many times I played that song in the 90s. Like I really did. My parents probably absolutely hate that song. In my room, just like fighting air, just kind of, a little peek behind the curtain.
Right.
Definitely, right. I was a Mortal Kombat fan to say the least.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, so that was definitely cool. But, I'm kind of for the protector role, it kind of gives her the involvement in like things that she shouldn't be in, I guess you could say. Because of course, this is like the build up for Aliyah, so I feel like it should be like the good one-on-one that's going on here. But, of course, like Natalya, she's always doing this like dirty thing or dirty fighting, I guess you could say, like whenever the bell rings and stuff like that. So, I mean, the protector role, I feel like it fits her well.
Yeah, it does. I just want to see her wrestle a little bit. I feel like her gimmick, spot on. You're right. It fits her. It does fit her well. Mm-hmm. I just want to see what they're going to do with it. Can she go in the ring? That's what I want to know. Because as of right now, if there's a box that says, can she come out and save somebody who's being bullied and scare off a bully? Check that bad boy. She's proven that on multiple occasions. Now, can she check off other boxes? That's kind of where I'm at here.
Gotcha. I mean, I think she definitely put a good smackdown on some of these women.
Oh, she could, without a doubt. I've seen her work in NXT. She had a little bit of a gimmick there. She is, without a doubt, at least looks like she's actually trained, like in martial arts, with how she does the stuff that she does, like during her entrance before she gets into the ring. But are you ready to move on to the next segment here? The Insane with Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. Hey, but before we do that, I'll give you a little bit of time to catch your breath. DJ Kuzmo asked me a question on the mailbag. He asked me how the crowd in OKC was reacting to Shinsuke Nakamura's match. I feel like as a whole, the OKC crowd was, if we're going like on a scale of 1 to 10, they were probably about a consistent 6, and they got up to like the 9, 10 area during like the Goldberg and Ronda Rousey entrance. Like whenever those people came out, the crowd popped. They really did. The Goldberg, whether you heard Oldberg or Goldberg, I promise you my section and like the people like surrounding me, it was pretty unanimous. They were in support of Goldberg in that situation. There were a couple, diehard Bloodline fans who didn't care who was going to come out. They were going to boo whoever was going to be coming out to get in Roman Reigns' face pretty much. But anyways, during that match itself, I feel like they were probably in the more like 5 or 6 range, really solid, consistent there. They didn't really get low at all during the show, but they only really got extremely high was during those returns, I guess you could say, the Goldberg and Ronda Rousey moments. But other than that, I'd say consistent like 6. So, I mean, they passed the test, I guess you could say. So I don't feel like there was a need for any like pumped in crowd noise. I know that people said that they heard it, and I'm not saying that they didn't. They probably did. Wouldn't surprise me. OKC isn't like a big market. WWE probably just assumed, well, let's go ahead and play it safe here. Let's pump in some crowd noise for what we want to hear. So I would not put it past WWE to actually pump in the crowd noise, but from where I was sitting and from what I was hearing is the crowd was actually into it. So I'll give them about a 6 just to answer your question, DJ. But yeah, go ahead, John.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically just this Insane thing, man. I'm kind of over it, definitely it was cool to see Shinsuke and Rick Boogs come out on it, but I felt like it would be like more of a like intense conversation and everything like that, and it was kind of like more of a like a jokey like ha type thing going towards Sammy about his jackass stunt, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, what do you think about Sammy saying that Shinsuke's been ducking him for about the past 6 weeks?
Honestly, I agree. I mean, not necessarily ducking Sammy, but ducking everybody for the past God knows how long. For as long as he's been the Intercontinental Champion. And it's not because of him. It's not like he's literally like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fight Sami Zayn. It's just because of how he's being booked. So that's all we have to look at is what's in front of us and what we're seeing. And it looks like Shinsuke Nakamura just, for whatever reason, does not want to defend that Intercontinental Championship. So I feel like no lies were detected with Sami Zayn there, saying that he was ducking him. But if you're going to call out Shinsuke, you're likely going to eventually get a match. And apparently that is what happened. We didn't get to watch it, unfortunately. I was really looking forward to watching that match. And I do want to know what WWE says because it was advertised to happen next week. So what's going to take that match's place next week? I was expecting an Intercontinental Championship match. So they better have something up their sleeve there. But I will say it was funny whenever Shinsuke Nakamura asked Sami Zayn if he's seen the movie that they're making next week, hence the match that was advertised next week. But he said this one was called Jackass Defeated. Get it? Referencing, calling Sami Zayn a jackass, saying that he's going to be defeated. See, that was funny. I love that. I legitimately laughed whenever I heard that. That was a pretty good moment there, but apparently it was all for naught because Sami Zayn did in fact gain that Intercontinental Championship. So since we're here, we're already in the Intercontinental Championship topic. What do you think about this? Do you think it was a good move? Do you wish the title would have stayed on Shinsuke? Where are you at?
definitely kind of just took me for a shock. I mean, I definitely wanted him to actually, have the match for it rather than, like I was saying earlier, rather than it just happen behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm not for Sammy too much, I mean, he has his good moments, I guess you could say, but I don't know. I'm not on his side.
Yeah, like he's being a little trickster here lately. Like one thing I don't want to skip over, even though I kind of did just now, was the Rick Boogs moment where he grabbed that mic stand and it looked like it shocked him and his guitar kind of played and he fell down. Whenever Shinsuke Nakamura was checking on him, Sami Zayn hit him with a hell of a haluva kick. Get it? Like, I mean, honestly, that was a hell of a kick that he hit him with. If he ended up fighting him after the show, it's no surprise that he took the championship from him. He's probably still seeing stars from that first kick, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Sami Zayn's run as Intercontinental Champion. He's a hell of a heel. He's a hell of whatever role you put him in. He's going to do a damn good job doing it. I think he's going to be a better champion than Shinsuke was, at least on this run. Shinsuke's been a good champion in the past. Like he was a good NXT champion. He's had other belts, but this Intercontinental Championship run was just very disappointing. And I feel like it fell short of my expectations. So hopefully Sami Zayn can kind of get those bad tastes out of our mouth and have a good little run here.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the run, I guess you could say. I'd rather see it be blown up to a bigger platform, I guess you could say.
But what do you think about, all right, so we can go ahead and move on here. Cesaro versus Baron Corbin, Happy Corbin, whatever you want to call him. But what do you think about Madcap's eye? Like, I'll tell you. Caleb Grant, obviously, you know Caleb, my roommate here.
Yes, sir.
He was there with us at SmackDown, and I didn't catch this. I totally missed this. I must have been looking somewhere else when this happened, but apparently Drew McIntyre kicked a microphone out of the ring. I don't know if you saw this on the TV broadcast last week, but the microphone literally hit Madcap Moss in the face. And Caleb and his sister, who were there watching SmackDown with us, they pointed that out. They said, hey, did he just kick that microphone and it hit him in the face? And you can kind of see Madcap Moss like bending down, grimacing, kind of holding his face. I thought it might have split him open a little bit with that hard corner, on the microphone that they have there. Right. But dude, apparently, I mean, there's no denying what happened and where it hit him, because that is a hell of a shiner there. I'm sure you've seen that being a baseball player. You've seen, the ball get hit in somebody's eye before and ended up looking pretty bad like that.
Yeah, it was kind of, definitely like, I don't know. I maybe thought there was a little bit of added to it, but gosh, yeah, that was a good lick right there.
And they're going with it. I mean, they're going like storyline with this thing.
Yeah. I mean, to see what's going on see what the doctor says and stuff like that a little bit further down. But yeah, he's kind of like holding off, kind of being scared about it and everything. So trying to push it off to Corbin. And I don't know. I'm more on the Madcap train. I'd rather see him fight Drew McIntyre or, have the match and everything. But I don't know. But yeah, moving into this next one, man, we got Happy Corbin versus Cesaro, freaking Swiss Superman. I kind of picked up on that. That was pretty cool. I believe Corey Graves was the one that said that. But yeah, Happy Corbin, man, he's been undefeated, moving into all these matches that he's had. So that's been a good positive for him and everything. But yeah, at the beginning of this match, Corbin, he was basically just handling Cesaro. I don't know. I figured it'd be a little like more of a back and forth, but I don't know. I feel like Cesaro, he's like low playing his skills, I guess you could say, in all this, but he kind of comes back in, I'd say, a few ways. He hits a deep six, a corkscrew, uppercut. But yeah, in the end of this, I mean, it was fairly short. Happy Corbin, he ends up getting the win after end of days, so I was like, what? But yeah, it was kind of cool to see. You have anything to say about this one?
Casual Wrestling Fan actually asked in the Discord chat, why is moving called Happy Days instead of End of Days, given that his name's Happy Corbin? What do you think about that? Do you think it's End of Days is better, given that's kind of been what it's been called? Do you think it should be Happy Days, given his character change?
I'd rather go with the original, just keep it as it is. But if that's what's going with his character, I mean, I kind of see it, because I don't really see like anything really going for him. So if they want to kind of like give him a new move or something like that, that'd be cool.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cause he's never lost with this move. Nobody's ever kicked out from the End of Days. That's well documented. So it's definitely a nice little good finishing move there. And some people get their finishing, like look at the super kick. That was Shawn Michaels' finishing move for his entire career. He made a Hall of Fame career out of that. Now it's a transition move. The Usos do it. Carmella does it. A lot of other people do as well. It's just one of those moves that we've seen. I mean, Dolph Ziggler's done it now. It's all over NXT, AEW. It's just one of those moves that gets overused, I feel like, more than any other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've definitely taken a few from you.
Oh, yeah, me too. Myself included. You know, I've definitely, if I catch you slipping, you know, not paying attention whenever you're walking by, I definitely gotta, you know, make sure that you're on your toes there.
Gotcha. But yeah, basically after that, man, it kind of goes into the Madcap, behind the scenes. He's in the, I guess you could say, like, physical room,
with
doing
the
like a little eye test and everything like that. So, I mean, he's kind of like trying to play it off, like I was saying earlier, that he doesn't want to move into this match with Drew. So, Dr. Minkum closes his eye, and of course, like Drew, he just pops up all quietly, stealthy and stuff like that. The sword just right up in his face. You know, doctor tells him to open his right eye. He looks, he sees the blade. He gives Drew like that slow little head turn, just like surprised that he's there and everything like that. So, I mean, I was kind of all for it. You know, it's kind of throwing Madcap into a corner. You know, it's like, hey, it's either you do this right here, or basically like you got to do this. You know, no other option.
Yeah, there's nowhere to run.
Yeah, I was okay with that right there.
Me too. All right, let's talk about what happened next. Bill Goldberg sits down with Michael Cole backstage, and they talks about how he no longer gives a damn, essentially, about what any of his critics say, or anyone else for that matter. He just doesn't care anymore what anyone thinks, because he says for a while there, a few years ago, he might have listened to what people say on the internet and all that stuff, but now he couldn't care less. So, and he also says that he is still the same old Goldberg, and Roman Reigns is going to get what's coming. It's 2 years in the making, 2 years past due, because they were supposed to fight at WrestleMania a couple years ago. It didn't happen. And I guess there was a reference earlier in the show where somebody said that Roman Reigns is going to Goldberg, something like that, something along those lines. I could be, you know, messing it up a little bit, but Goldberg says, you know, there's only one Goldberg, and basically saying that this comeback is not going to be short-lived. It might be one that's going to last a little bit, according to him. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, where are you at on this? Do you think there's any way that at Elimination Chamber we see Roman Reigns maybe get upset here by Bill Goldberg?
I mean, I definitely don't see that. But, I mean, it is interesting to see, like, the Goldberg coming back and everything like that. I believe I last saw him SummerSlam whenever he was facing Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
So, I mean, just seeing like an old wrestler, you know, somebody that I'm kind of familiar with, I mean, it keeps me in tune. I mean, I wouldn't say in tune, but like more interested, I guess you could say, you know. So, I mean, I'm kind of for it, but I don't see Goldberg taking the belt from Roman Reigns, that is. But, I mean, he did say that he's already, or it kind of made it seem that he's already looking past Roman and
looking towards Brock,
you know.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, just an eyebrow raiser right there. And I was like, okay. I mean, he's making it seem like Roman Reigns is just like his stepping stone, as if he's not like the top guy, you know, like,
yeah.
So I was like, okay. But I mean,
please not a triple threat. That's all I ask. Please not a triple threat with these guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, but I mean, I'm for it. I can't really say nothing about this.
Yeah, that's kind of all we get there is a backstage interview with Michael Cole from both of those guys. Maybe we'll get a little bit further next week. Maybe see another face-to-face encounter. I was in person at the one last week, so I wouldn't mind being at home on TV watching one, so I could really actually get a good look at it, I guess you can say, and actually hear and see their facial expressions and all that stuff. There are benefits to being at home and watching one of these events. But anyways, unless you got anything to add about the Goldberg and Roman stuff, we can go ahead and move on to this main event, this long match between Charlotte and Naomi.
Oh, yeah, I'm all good on that part. Let's keep it rolling.
What'd you think about this one then? I mean, this was a long one, like damn near 20 minutes, right? Something like that, maybe like 25, somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah, it was a good lengthy match. I mean, it was a lot of, I'd say a good back and forth, you know.
A lot of near falls.
Yeah, Naomi was coming dang close to a lot of.
She was.
She hit a lot of good like moves and everything like that. So this was a great match.
There was one in particular. I thought it was 3. Like I was legitimately I told Caleb, I was like, that should have been 3 right exactly there. Like the ref. Yeah.
Yeah, you saying that, like I already saw like the third hand already coming around for that last slap, So yeah, that was a good little point out right there.
I mean, it was just near fall galore. That's like all it was, because it wasn't just that one. There were so many others where she had Charlotte. It looks like, and it wasn't just like she was just doing the rear view over and over again and rolling and, hooking the leg and trying to pin her. Like she just kept putting herself in unique positions to try to win this match. And there was a couple times where I seriously thought she was going to do it. But deep down, they're not going to give up that match. They're not going to make Charlotte look weak. If she drops her title, even if she got it back a week later, it would still look bad. She lost the championship. So they're not going to do that. I knew that she wasn't going to win this match. We kind of talked about it last week. It was a lose-lose for Naomi, but I guess I didn't factor in how strong they could make her look. And that's really what they did here. And they didn't give her the win, but they made her go as close as she possibly can and make her really look like she can compete with Charlotte and, I guess, for lack of a better word, push her to the limit.
Oh yeah, I was definitely impressed. Like I said, there were so many moves that were thrown out there, so it definitely kept you interested. But yeah, like you said, Charlotte, she gets that win, and of course you didn't ever, or from the beginning, you knew like this was just like a pick-me-up match, I guess you could say, because like how Goldberg, it's like Charlotte, she's already looking past this, Yeah. So I didn't really have like too much of a connection to it, but it was definitely good to watch.
Yeah, it was. But that's kind of why, like I say, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have a program with someone between Rumble and Mania. Like, I understand you got to have a pay-per-view between there because you can't just have it be the Royal Rumble and then the very next month have it be WrestleMania. You have to build it up a little bit. But I don't like these stepping stone contenders. I don't like these part-time challengers who are only going to be here for a little bit, and there's no point in doing it. Just don't have those championships be defended on that card. Have a couple of the mid-card ones, maybe. Look at the WWE Championship. That's one that could clearly be defended. No problem there. And it is. It's being defended at and inside the Elimination Chamber, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Oh, yeah, it is. Basically, all 5 of them. So it's going to be a good match and everything like that. So I'm definitely in tune for that one. But the ending of this, man, it was definitely crazy. Sonya Deville comes out. She's basically like kind of giving Naomi her little heckle for the loss and everything like that.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. God, the elements that are coming from this and everything. But yeah, in comes Ronda Rousey, of course. She's coming. It kind of feels like as she's doing the.
Well, Naomi retaliates, right? You kind of mentioned that. She actually starts swinging on her, gets her down there on the ground, and then Charlotte comes in and hits the big boot on Naomi and knocks Naomi down. And then that's whenever you see Sonya kind of get some stiff kicks in on Naomi. Did you see that? Whenever Naomi was laying on the ground, Sonya Deville starts kicking Naomi whenever she's laying there. And then that's whenever Ronda Rousey sprints out there, and it almost looks like she stumbles when she gets to the bottom of the ramp. Yeah, she stumbles a little. It's like she almost rolls her ankle or something like that. Well, she slides in there. Charlotte runs for it, but she grabs Sonya Deville and looks like she's going to put her in the armbar. You see her in the sling. Mm-hmm. Well, she was going to get another one in her other arm, but Charlotte pulls her out of the ring, kind of makes a narrow escape. But yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, Ronda Rousey does come out, but I did want to point out because I saw how stiff those shots were that Naomi was throwing when she was like cocked back swinging. It was a sight to see. Like I said, Sonya Deville has done a good job of building up heat to where I love seeing Naomi kick her ass. It's just one of those things. Like it's not old for me yet.
Oh, it's starting to build on me. I'm starting to pay attention to this a lot more. I'm starting to feel.
You're starting to side with Sonya a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was, I don't know. I'm just feeling like it's like, of course she was taking her, advantage with her authority and everything like that. And now I just feel like it's starting to too much backlash is starting to get her,
Oh, no.
She got a Ronda armbar,
it's starting to catch up to her is all it is.
So, I definitely feel for her. And just like at the beginning of the show, like how, like she wanted all these like stipulations, the 100K fine, the suspension indefinitely, and everything like that. Like I was saying, Adam Pearce, he got a couple F5s from Brock Lesnar, and I don't know if he was the one, but I'm pretty sure it had it had the involvement of Brock Lesnar getting all that stuff happening to him, Of course, he had.
That's why he got suspended. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of feel as if.
Remember, he went back and like broke his phone and whatever, like snapped his phone in half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then go ahead though.
Yeah, there was a lot of like stuff that was going on. I just feel like it wasn't like fair, So now we're just seeing like one person able to take like all that authority and just use it, and now we're seeing another person over here just getting abused theirself, So I don't know. I'm starting to feel the Sonya Deville thing.
I can't believe it's still going on though. They haven't. I mean, they've had their matches. It's gone through pay-per-views. I mean, it started in like November, but this thing is rolling. I mean, it just makes too much sense now to just let it roll through. See if we can't just push this bad boy all the way to WrestleMania. We'll see what happens there. But that does do it for us here on the SmackDown review. John, I want to thank you obviously for joining me, for taking time out of your evening for me and you to talk about SmackDown. Obviously a little bit different given that I missed a little bit of this one. Sucks. I hate when that happens. I gotta stay on my A game with that, but you know how it is. Sometimes you're doing stuff, actual life stuff. You don't actually get to sit down and just watch it exactly whenever you want. But that's when DVR comes into effect. But DVR, whenever when you're in a tag team match and you're really tired and you're trying to get to your corner to get your tag team partner in there to get the hot tag. I went to my corner to tag in DVR and it wasn't there. It wasn't in the corner, and the opponents went over there, gave me a spine buster. Someone hit a splash out the top rope, 1, 2, 3, knocked me out. But luckily, you kind of got redemption here, saved the show, and we were able to deliver here. So a good 70th edition of my version of the SmackDown review since I started here. But now that you've been here, I feel like the show's better than it's ever been. So I do want to thank you for that. But the floor is yours. Any shout outs, any plugs? Anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Yes, sir. I do appreciate that. I mean, definitely builds the confidence and everything. But yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to you, man. Thank you for having me on and everything. To the listeners, I mean, stay involved. I mean, I got some tricks up my sleeve. So everybody that's listening, if y'all are in tune, I got something up my sleeve for y'all. But other than that, just another shout out to you, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah, always, buddy. But speaking of the listeners, if it's your first time listening, thank you so much. If you're a regular listener, thank you also for making this part of your weekly routine. Hopefully you will continue to do that as these episodes continue to drop. But on that note, I hope you have a damn good weekend. Walk passionately in the direction of your dreams, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.